Ramon is making the bread, as he has done most nights for the last 21 years. He barely needs that scale. After forming thousands upon thousands of loaves through the years, his hands know what to do. So do his siblings. 4 of them work at the bakery with him: Antonio, Laura, Pili, and Marusha. Just before dawn, they start taking the fresh bread out of the huge traditional wood oven. The smell is amazing. Wood smoke, fresh bread, onions and garlic from the empanadas that came out earlier. Next, the night's labor will be loaded into the truck, and Ramon will deliver the freshly baked bread to neighbors all around the area before some of them are out of bed. There's an old saying here: with bread and wine, you can walk your road. And we have found it to be true. All around Galicia, bread trucks are darting through the morning countryside, tooting their horns in tiny villages, helping people walk their road. 3 mornings a week, Ramon hangs the bread on our gate, and the dogs and I go down and fetch it. The Galician tradition of fresh bread delivered to your door has become our tradition. Hospitality is part of the Galician identity. Bread is served at every meal, and often we find that wine and bread are at the center of the table. This is Angela, my Spanish teacher. I suspect Saint Monica, the patron saint of finding patience, smiles down on Angela, who forever stays positive through my humble attempts to learn a new language.
Qué bien, qué interesante.
Sí, sí. Y
During her lifetime, Saint Monica was known for leaving baskets of bread and wine at little chapels that had been erected for certain saints, until the bishop told her to stop with the wine, as it was proving too tempting for some of the parishioners.
Con arqueólogos.
Sí, is that how you would say? She's a female archaeologist, so...
Arqueóloga. Si sabes que es una mujer con una arqueóloga. Uh-huh.
Arqueóloga.
Arqueóloga.
Arqueóloga. Sí. Bien.
I know there is no straight road in this world, only a giant labyrinth of intersecting crossroads. These are the words of Federico Garcia Lorca, the great Spanish poet. Many of these crossroads intersect here in Galicia, with Santiago de Compostela at the heart of a series of caminos, pilgrimages that people walk from starting points all over Europe and ending at the Cathedral of Santiago, the resting place of the remains of the Apostle St. James. Nietzsche said, all truly great thoughts are conceived by walking, and the Camino de Santiago, which started out in the 9th century as a Catholic pilgrimage, is now undertaken by people of all faiths or no faith for a variety of reasons that all kind of boil down to thinking about what it means to be a human in the world today. Galicia is filled with walkers, some passing through, others whose ancestors lived and died here for countless generations. But I don't know anyone more excited about walking than Hazel. Every walk, every day, begins with a 5-minute song of joy. There are so many beautiful places to be, made richer by the traces, both subtle and obvious, of the people who have passed before us in these very same spaces. In some cases, traces that were old before the Romans arrived here. Sometimes we walk on the logging roads and end up surrounded by eucalyptus groves. Eucalyptus is relatively new to Galicia, arriving only 170 years ago as a handful of seeds brought back home to Galicia by a Benedictine monk who was serving as a missionary in Australia. Wanderer, your footsteps are the road, and nothing more. Wanderer, there is no road. The road is made by walking. By walking, one makes the road. And upon glancing behind, one sees the path that never will be trod again. Wanderer, there is no road, only wakes upon the sea. Antonio Machado. It was random wandering that led us to Galicia and to this mile-long stretch that is lined on both sides with centennial oak trees, twisting and stretching upwards as if they're grasping at the sky. The road ends at this little chapel, the Ermida da Mota, surrounded by more oaks. It was the parents of this parish who planted the oaks back in the early days of World War I. Each tree represented a son that the parents wished to keep safe from war. Would the roots take firm hold and bind their son's body and soul to the soil of Galicia? It's profound to walk here, knowing each tree represents the life of a man now gone, whether they went to war or not. Each tree, grown from an acorn, representing the love of a parent. An old windmill pulls water to the surface and the trees drink. They all started out slim and straight, and they grew stronger and thickened and set out branches and were warped by wind or dry years or disease. But they're still standing here. farming sustains many people here in rural Galicia, either directly or indirectly. So we share the land with crops and animals, and there is always work to be done, whether you run a large dairy providing milk for the famous Galician cheeses, or if you only keep a few animals and a garden for your family. Manuel makes beautiful traditional baskets. There are barnacles to be collected from the wild coastline and prepared for market. José the frutero takes his wares to the village market. The bounty of Galicia, its beautiful climate and abundant rains. Pulpo à feira, octopus Galician style, served on a small wooden plate, drizzled with olive oil, dusted with paprika, eaten with a toothpick, and pan nearby, of course. Afternoons are for tapas, drinks and conversation with friends, a little food to share.
Nunca decidin agora morro te mirar. Ay, ay, la 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 la, ay, ay, la 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 la.
The men often play cards at the pub on Sunday. They've known each other since earliest childhood. Sometimes tempers flare, but only for a moment. It's all part of the fun. On lovely evenings, it seems the whole neighborhood comes out to walk. We took wine with us on this day and had a little toast with our neighbors. They're sending you their goodwill.
De Sequeiros, pequeniña por hacer, que non ten amores nela.
The food in Galicia is wholesome, seasonal, local, and fresh, pretty much anywhere you choose to go. But if you want sophistication, they have that here too. We stumbled on this place after a hike and came back for a special dinner with friends. The inn dates from 1553, and the food is traditional and out of this world good. The Spanish are famous for long meals, savoring time with friends, as well as food and wine. The rich flavors of life.
un xuntando un grau a outro por verse te enamorar.
And now the sun descends. The day winds down.
Grau a grau fixen montañas e agora non vexo nada. Grau a grau fixen montañas e agora non vexo nada.
And for some,
Ai la 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 la, ai la 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 la.
the day is done.
La 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 la, ai la 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 la. Ai la 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 la, ai la 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 la, ai la 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 la. Cando me fun deixando a erva do campo pisada, cando me fun deixando a erva do campo pisada, tirei pedriñas ao chan e cos ollos fixen lama. Tirei pedriñas ao chan e cos ollos fixen lama.
Why are you so naughty? Why are you so naughty?